I have spoken last year at UXCamp, but never in this room, and it's very intimidating. I've also never done a presentation with anywhere near this many things that can go wrong. So I appreciate you bearing with me. I want this to be really light-hearted and open. Feel free to ask questions throughout. Let's have a bit of fun with this one. Anything that comes out of an AI system while I'm doing this presentation does not represent my own views or that of the company I work for. Let me just put that out there to start off with. So, first off, I'd like to say thanks to the sponsors for sponsoring UXCamp. Events like this couldn't happen without these wonderful sponsors and sponsors like it. Really appreciate them. And thanks also to the volunteers who are helping out organise the event and are here helping today. Who am I? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Trent Cain. I'm the Design and Adoption Practice Lead at Insight. One of the sponsors. This is our first year sponsoring. I was very pleased to get marketing over the line with that one. So, yeah. All right. So I promised everybody that I could help you get a pay rise by attending my talk. So let's crack straight on with that, shall we? So, literally using any one of the large language models out there at the moment, like ChatGPT, or as I've used here, Bing Chat, you can literally write something like this. Write an email to my boss asking for a raise. And I did that just last night, and it came out with this, which isn't going to be super easy to read, but it literally is giving me a well-formatted, well-structured, well-thought-out email where I just have to fill in a few blanks. If you gave that prompt a bit more context, then it would give you an even better email straight back. So there you go. Quick, take a photo, send it to your boss. Or jump on and do it yourself after we're done here. So authoring content is one of the biggest, most common reasons that I use large language models and generative AI today, from emails, documents, blog posts, even poetry. One of the members of my team has recently started using AI to generate poems for everyone's birthday, on their birthday, and post them to our internal recognized system. And they're really fun. I think they're really, really cool, and they mean something. Every time I have to write on a birthday card, I'm like, what do I say? What do I write? Oh God, I got a meeting in 5 minutes. What am I going to do? So just jumping into Bing Chat or something and saying, hey, write me something fun for this person on their birthday, and it comes out with something really cool straight away. Saves a lot of time. Maybe you could argue it's not as thoughtful, but I would argue I've put more thought into that than just writing the same message that I did on the last 3 cards, which is kind of my fallback when I don't have time before this. The next big use case that I have found for generative AI is just finding information in general. Search engines are so 2022, pre-ChatGPT, right? So again, last night, at really some obscure late time, I said to Bing Chat, tell me about UXCamp. Oh, do you want to go back? There you go. And this was the response it gave me. As you can see, it's really kind of generic, and it's talking about all of the UX camps and the UX camps as a concept. So I gave it a bit more context. I added in the location, I added in the date, and then I told it what I wanted to know about. Tell me how much a ticket costs, who might like to attend, and I gave it the reasoning for why I want to know this. I was like, I want to decide whether or not I should purchase a ticket to this event. And then this is what it gave me. And it was bang on. It was like, this is the conference, this is what it's about, this is the agenda, this is who it's suitable for, this is how much tickets cost, the sponsors, and some other things that you might like to know. Because I gave it the context of my decision making that I was looking to do, it gave me other factors that I might want to consider while making that decision. One of the things you might notice about Bing Chat in this instance, as opposed to, I don't know if you've used ChatGPT, Bing Chat incorporates a web search or a bunch of web searches into its answer. So you get references and links come back in your answer as well, which I think is one of its biggest strengths. So why did this second prompt, it's kind of obvious, right? Like why this second prompt was better. But the art of making good prompts is referred to as prompt engineering, and there's a bit of an industry and a bit of a skill set building in this space as we speak. I'm definitely not an expert. Coincidentally, one of the experts that worked for Insight gave a tech talk yesterday on prompt engineering, and so I was like madly taking notes and messaging him and trying to figure out what I should put in this presentation that is at the right level. So I'm not an expert, but I have access to experts. If you have any really technical questions, please let me know. This is essentially the most important thing of prompt engineering. There's lots of different structures for prompts, and people have written lots of different blog posts and articles about a good prompt structure. A lot of them are really similar to this. It's like you start with anything you want to input into the AI's decision making and response creation, likely context, then some instructions and or some questions. You can optionally provide it examples, and it will really mimic those examples in its output. Or you can optionally describe an output format, like I want it in comma-separated values, I want it in a table, I want it in this, that, or the other, an image. I want it short, I want it targeted at somebody that's 10 years old. Whatever you want, that's where you sort of tailor your format. As a bare minimum, you need one of the red ones. You need an instruction or a question, bare minimum, and then you can optionally try adding the other things. Some tips that I've discovered, and talking to Sean, our generative AI expert, he's sort of confirmed. It's really important to be clear and specific about what you want this AI model to do. The more clear you can be, the more specific you can be, the better it's going to come out. Providing context, so as I provided that context about the location and the date is really important, and it helps the answer be a lot more tailored and a lot more what you're looking for. And then you can use examples like I described, or cues or keywords or constraints. There's like a whole bunch of things and ways you can format it. Cues are like using semicolons or using line separators and things to separate different contexts of information. A quick Google search or some of the resources that I have at the end will give you a bunch more info in this space if you want. But just to start playing, just know that you can do these sorts of things, and examples can be really beneficial. But one of the best tips that I've come across is like it's iterative. The first thing you get back often misses the mark by a little bit, and just like, why did it miss? What's kind of incorrect about it? And then just hit it with either another example or some more context to try and fix that, and it will usually, second or third go, you'll be exactly where you're looking for. These are some interesting phrases that I found in my research frantically over the last couple of days. I haven't tried all of these. I've tried Think Step by Step, which was an interesting experience. But you can also do thinking backwards, which apparently is good if the AI keeps getting the incorrect result. So you sort of think from the target output that we're looking for backwards to the question or the instructions and work that way. I've seen people do in the style of famous person. This is happening a lot at work at the moment. People are sending emails in the style of famous people that you may or may not like. And so they're really funny and interesting to read. Poems are pretty fun and interesting to read. As a profession is a good one. So like as a primary school teacher, describe the concept of artificial intelligence to somebody that is 5 years old or something. And you will get a really useful breakdown of that that's like done in a way that a teacher would explain it and that targets that right sort of age bracket or people, audience. Editing text. All right, so I am on a few spectrums. I think I'm a little bit ADHD, mildly dyslexic, terrible at spelling, all of those things. I know really good text. I know really well-written emails when I see them. I'm really bad at making them myself. So as with that first prompt, write a letter to my email to my boss, I use that quite a bit to like get a really good structure and then just make it my own afterwards. But also if I'm like really concerned about how something looks, if something's going to be really visible, I just put a paragraph of text straight into large language model or a generative AI tool and have it edit it for me. So here's a simple prompt. Edit this text for proper spelling and grammar. Here's the text, bang. So I've given it the instructions, and then I've given it the text that I want it to do. And then this is what it did. That's the paragraph of text that I put in, but all the grammar and spelling has been fixed. But I've no idea what it's changed. I'm like, how do I know if I want all of those changes? Did you add a Z in instead of an S anywhere that I don't want? Look, revolutionizing, all of those sorts of things. So you can add a bit more context or a little bit more instructions about the output that you want. So rewrite this text with the changes and then give me a list of each change that you've made and a justification or reason for each change. And then, ta-da! So there's the edited text, the first paragraph, and there's a complete list of the changes, and it's explained why it's made each of those changes. So I can decide, actually, do I want to keep that or not? Which I think this is cool. This is a real game changer for me. I find it super helpful in day-to-day work. I know I promised a bunch of demos, and I'm gonna jump out and do one in a moment, but it is a little slow and I am conscious of time. So I think we'll save a few demos till the end and then I'll know how much time I've got to work with. Learning about a new topic or field. This one's fun. Like, I often have to learn something new because of the industry we work in. We're often building solutions or systems for an industry or business that we don't know about. We've never worked for them before. We've never done something for the financial sector, or we've never done an insurance product or whatever. And there's a lot to learn, and it can be super overwhelming the first time you need to learn about like environmental management or something like that. It can take an extremely long period of time. Here is a life hack that you will like cherish. Literally saying, I want to learn about something. What are the 7 most important questions that I should find answers to? There they are. These are the 7 most important questions, and you can see where it's the references of where it's found those questions. But wait, how about I would like you to answer some research questions in the field of, I would like you to answer the questions that can be understandable by a school student, that use credible sources of information only. If you don't know the answer, tell me. That's a way to try and stop it hallucinating. Sometimes these generative AI models can hallucinate things that they don't actually know the answer. Blah, 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 please answer the following questions. And those are the questions it just gave me. And then, ta-da, it does a whole bunch of searches and it answers all of those questions and breaks them down into simple bullet point answers that I can quickly understand. And then as soon as you're like, yep, I know enough about that, what are they talking about here? You just go again, hit it with, tell me more about this. What should I know about that? Give me more detail in this area. Amazing. So all of that is so far lives and can be done in just a general large language model like ChatGPT or Bing Chat. Relatively straightforward, don't need any licenses, they're all free to use today. Bing Chat, I believe, is better at the moment because it has that internet search pumped in. Like GPT, the underlying AI brain, was trained, it takes a year to train or something, so it was trained a year ago, so it doesn't know anything about the last year of events, whereas Bing Chat does that web search and pumps that in, so it does know about even very recent events when you're asking it questions. So, but now I want to talk about another tool that I'm using every day. I'm fortunate enough to work for a Microsoft partner, so we got early access to a lot of these tools, but it just went live 2 days ago. So it's now available for anybody that is on Microsoft 365, and they've called it Copilot. And essentially, Microsoft have embedded a large language model, very, very similar, if not the same, as what is in Bing Chat, into all of your Office products now. And all that really does is prevent the copy something out of a Word document into the chat and then the answer out of the chat. It just prevents that back and forth. Everything's done in place, in situ. But the other thing that's really good about it is it can read all of your data, right? Because it's part of your private secured tenant in Microsoft 365. When I go on leave, I don't know about the rest of you, but after you go on leave for a couple of weeks and you come back, The inbox is completely overwhelming. Even though you might have an out of office on, it's just unmanageable. Thousands of emails, hundreds of emails. So you can come back and you can literally say, what have I missed? Give me the highest priority things that I should be looking at first. And it will trawl through all of your emails and understand the context and give you those. It's incredible. So I'm going to show you a video. It's real marketing and cheesy. I apologize for that, but it will give you a really high level look at it. Wow, wasn't that over the top? Apologies. I feel like that's the best way to give you a quick overview of what Copilot is and where it lives and what it looks like. I really wanted to demo a bunch of these things to you, but I'm like, I just can't bring my inbox up here and ask it to summarize things because I could show anything. So I've had to resort to some marketing material for a few of these things because I don't have a demo environment of them. But I will say that that's obviously a very glossy video and some things are like made look exceptional in that video. But everything they did demo does more or less work today to varying degrees of success. The output you get from PowerPoint, for example, heavily depends on your PowerPoint template being built correctly and your content being really well structured that you're feeding into it. Garbage in, garbage out, right? So that use case, summarizing all the things, catching up on stuff. I'll show you one quick, no, I'm not even going to look at the Outlook one. You get the idea. You just press that button, catch up since I've been here. It gives you a whole summary. We don't need to watch any more marketing. No, we don't want to watch any more marketing. This one I'll show you really quickly. I might just turn the sound off though. This is one of my favorites. I use this many times a day. So you can say, I can't go to this meeting. I want to follow it instead. And it'll transcribe the meeting. Any meeting that's being recorded is automatically transcribed. Otherwise, you can turn on transcriptions when you're in Teams. But it will transcribe the meeting for you without you being there. And then you get this recap when you come back to it. It's like, this is what was presented, topics that were covered, a summary, notes, any tasks or actions. If there was any tasks for you, you can have it automatically push them into your list of tasks in Microsoft 365. You can then prompt it, ask it questions. Tell me more about this area that was discussed, or who brought this topic up, or you can just hit it with any question you want that it can infer from the transcript of the meeting and it will give you the answers. If you're doing a traditional meeting, which feels weird to say, but if you're literally all sitting in the same room, which doesn't happen all that often, I understand, sometimes you've got to talk a bit differently and add a bit more context. So you can say like, I, Trent, would like you, Nick, to send me that information, you know, and at the end it will go, action for Nick, send Trent that information. Otherwise it doesn't know who it is, kind of thing. But it works really well. And this one also I'm a massive fan of. I am sometimes late. I think it has to do with my neurodiversity. I struggle to be on time. I get stuck in conversations with people that are really interesting. I jumped into a meeting 20 minutes late the other day, and I know that's really late, but I was just like, what have I missed? And it gives you a summary of everything that's been discussed since then. And I was like, was my name mentioned? And it's like, no, there's been no mention of Trent. And I'm like, yes. Was there any mention of design? And it's like, no, there's been no mention of design. And I'm like, why haven't we spoken about design yet? But you know immediately what you've missed and whether you actually need to go and catch up on the first 20 minutes of the recording of that or not. Without even sort of, oh, sorry, I'm late. What did I miss? That kind of awkwardness that comes from that. And people are like, we're clearly not important to you. Why are you 20 minutes late? Kind of thing. The other one is like tender requests and all of these sorts of things. You get documents come out of government that are genuinely enormous. One we responded to not that long ago was a tender request for Environment Online by the Department of Water and Environmental Regulation. It had like 5 attachments. Just one of those attachments was the business requirements document. It was 167 pages long and 47,000 words. Like trying to find something quickly in that, you can search, but you got to try like 10 different terms and it's a real pain. Whereas Copilot, just in the sidebar of Word, you can ask it anything you want. Does DEWA require any geospatial capabilities in the solution? And bang, it comes back with an answer to that. Is there an expected timeline for the program of work? There's the answer. Are there any risks that might impact the delivery of the solution? yeah, there's a risk. And it points out that there's a legislative reform occurring in parallel to the program. And I'm like, whoa, that's good to know. You know, like going into this tender, we can make sure we have a lot of assumptions or a lot of mitigation approaches to account for that. So, and you can just ask it for a general summary. You know, give me the too long didn't read version of this document and it will give you that as well. I should add a bit of an asterisk. With any of these large language models, they have been known and do sometimes hallucinate and make things up. So whatever you find, whatever it comes back with, it should always be validated by a human. We shouldn't trust any of these things 100%. And I think that will be the case for the foreseeable future. But it's a really, really good starting point. I find it's like that 80-20 rule that the keynote speaker spoke about earlier. Summarizing a web page. Let's do a demo, hey? Let's do one. Come on, demo gods. There we go. So whatever you're looking at on the left, it can summarize on the right. That's baked into the Edge browser. I'm sure most of you don't use the Edge browser. So, you know, I've started using it occasionally for this purpose only, but like I said, you can just move the link into Bing Chat. If you want to get to Bing Chat, you can just literally go to Bing. So let's close that now. And if you land on Bing Search, then, excuse me, you just press the chat button next to that, and now you're in the chat space, and then you can ask it anything you want. So, like, let's do the, right, I had all of these in a Word document. Should I just do that instead? Let's go. Let's go for this editing one, shall we? Prove that that worked. How long? Only a few more minutes. Oh, no. All right, let's do that one. One quick demo on the editing the text, and we'll get to the really fun stuff. There it is. All right, let's leave that to cook. Generating images. This one's great. So, bit of a spoiler there. I asked it to create a photorealistic image of a panda bear reading a book here, and it created these. And I'm like, wow, they're actually not bad. But maybe we can do better. So I know that Adobe Firefly is a really good generative AI tool for making images. So I asked Bing Chat to look up how to create an Adobe Firefly prompt and then use what you've learned to create a prompt to ask Adobe Firefly to create the same image. And it did this, it did a bunch of research, gave me the prompt, stuck the prompt in, and got this one. I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. And then also these three as well. And you can kind of pick your best, and then you can ask it to improve things, change things, manipulate things, you know, change the lighting, whatever, it'll do it. It's incredible. They're stealing our jobs. Okay, generating ideas. This is the funnest one. I would like help brainstorming some ideas for a talk that I could pitch to UXCamp Boorloo next year. Cool, there's some interesting ideas. How about, do you have any ideas related to topics that have been trending in UX design this year? And I searched for UX design trends and then gave me some ideas based on what's been really popular this year. Not bad. We can do better. So this time I started a new topic and did a more detailed prompt from the beginning. I won't read it all, but it resulted in more detailed responses as well. So each idea has far more substance to it. It's got like an entire abstract and angles you can take on it. And some of them are really good, like how to design for voice user interface and micro interactions and stuff. And then I think there was even an AI one in there, and I'm like, oh, they're stealing my ideas. So I used all of these tools to create a hypothetical organization. We had a training course that we were running, and we were doing design thinking training. And whenever you do a training course, you're like, I just want to use this prime client over here and focus it on that. But obviously, anyone that's worked for that client or works at that client will know that it's that client, and you're sort of airing their dirty laundry. So let's check out what we were able to create. No, I'm running out of time, but we can get there, we can get there. The Human Zoo. So it's a place to safely see humans in their natural habitat. It's owned and run by animals, where the patrons, that are also animals, can visit to safely see humans up close in their natural habitats. They're grouped into various exhibits based on their interests or common stereotypes. And the zoo works hard to make sure the humans are happy in their environment. There's some background here. It was founded by Bongo, who's a monkey. He's still the CEO today. I made some strong references to our CEO when I was delivering this. And it sources and recruits the humans using methods such as volunteering, recruiting, kidnapping, bribing, trading, smuggling, adopting, rescuing, and buying. I prompted it to make humour in there and to add wit to all of this stuff as well. And so it was able to do a lot of this. There's some boring stuff about partner organisations. This is the fun part. Meet the crew. All of these images were created using Bing Chat by just prompting it. There's Bongo the monkey. He's like got a bunch of stuff. Oh my God, this looks like our CTO. Like honestly, I didn't have to name any names and everyone knew who we were talking about. And he often likes to scavenge and collect gadgets and devices that he can use or sell. And he sabotages the zoo's human exhibitors' technology and data. And then our ops manager, oh my God. He's stubborn, he's bossy, he likes to build and repair dams and bridges. He often works overtime trying to do everything himself. He sometimes causes problems by interfering with other people's work. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it's really honed in on some stereotypes here. And then there's the marketing and the pandemonium, the panda. Some of them we had to tweak to get to avoid some biases. There was a massive gender bias, like a lot of the senior roles were all male. I've had better results since then. I prepared another one just for today that maybe we might have time to look at. These were some of the exhibits. Now, we pushed some of these ideas and some of them came from it. And it's even got pain points here, like, you know, it's expensive to maintain. They can be really noisy, which scares some of the anxious patrons, like the mice and the squirrels and stuff. How is it coming up with this? Fortnite players. And then crafters. They have a large number of materials and supplies that always get delivered. They take up lots of storage space. The completed projects take up lots of space, but the humans feel attached to them and don't want to let them go. You can already see the design thinking opportunities coming out of this. I created existing artifacts like a vision canvas for them. The SWOT statement, I just said, based on the organisation we're forming, create a SWOT statement, and it just pumped all of this straight out. I changed like maybe 10 words on the screen. Technology assessment, like I said, tell me about your legacy, frustrating, current technology state, and it gives me all of this information. Tell me about the challenges that result from having animals as staff using technology. It gives me all of these. It created personas. I just asked for personas from each major animal group, and it created all these personas. Incredible. There's quotes, there's all sorts of stuff that just came out of this. You can see it's maybe knocked off some IP with a few of them. We actually got Dory when we asked for a marine one, and we were like, they're all young. Give us a more elderly persona. And it came with Bruce, and I'm like, clearly its marine understanding comes from one movie. But yeah, that was the Human Zoo. How am I going for time? I'm out of time. All right. I'll show you really quickly some chat threads here. Just to prove that that's real, I asked it for a bunch more hypothetical organisations for design thinking training. And I gave it a really good prompt, and it gave me a summary, and then I pumped in the question saying all of the context. I want to create a design thinking training course for this type of people. I need an organisation. They need to have problems that can be solved using design thinking, etc., etc., etc. There's the example that it gave me, that it gave me about the Human Zoo. And then it came up with the Galactic Federation of Planets, a time travel agency, a superhero academy, a zombie rehabilitation centre, the Magic School Bus, and an undercover agency. The thing I put in there that gave all of these creative ideas was I don't want it to feel like it represents any real organisation. I want it to be obviously hypothetical, so it needs to have something in it that's not possible in our world. And so it came up with all of these really creative ideas. And then you can pick any one of those and go, let's workshop this. What do the staff look like? What do the customers look like? Create a SWOT statement, all this. And it just keeps going. It's unbelievable. Such a time saver. Really helps with creative ideas. Thanks so much. Sorry it was a bit rushed. I have a whole bunch of resources and further reading. I'll PDF this and tweet it out if you want it. There's my Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Trent.